My wedding day felt like the peak of everything I had worked for. I handled every detail alone because my parents claimed exhaustion and distance made attending impossible. I believed them. But when the ceremony began and the entrance remained empty, something inside me cracked. Their absence wasn't an accident, it was a message. My wife tried to hide her embarrassment, but the silence around those empty chairs was deafening. Guests whispered, confused, and I stood smiling while shame burned beneath my ribs. I married the woman I loved, yet felt abandoned by the people who raised me. I thought that pain would fade with time. I didn't know that success would later flip the script entirely. After the wedding, the quiet was unbearable. No congratulatory call, no acknowledgement, not even a lazy text filled with excuses. My parents celebrated my sister's engagement weeks before with fireworks, speeches, and public declarations of pride. My own marriage, the one I funded entirely, received nothing. My wife asked whether I wanted to confront them, but I had learned something through years of subtle dismissal. Silence can hurt more than insults. I packed away the disappointment and redirected my frustration toward my goals. If my family couldn't see value in my choices, I would build a life where their opinions held no weight. That decision marked the beginning of my emotional separation from them. Leaving my corporate job was a risk, but I wanted ownership over my future. My parents reacted like I'd thrown my career into fire. They mocked my rented workspace, my aging computer, and my willingness to start from nothing again. My sister's comments echoed those doubts, insisting that ambition was foolish at my age. Their ridicule pushed me harder. I spent nights drafting business models, pitching ideas, and learning logistics from scratch. Every setback sharpened my resolve. They expected failure. I planned growth. When my first client signed, excitement replaced fear. The laughter that once haunted my thoughts became fuel. I realized dreams flourish best when they're doubted by those without any. Opportunity arrived quietly. A multinational corporation contacted me, seeking a logistics partner capable of operating across North Africa. Meetings stretched into long nights filled with negotiations, revisions, and strategy sessions. I hired experts, analyzed market gaps, and prepared proposals that demanded confidence I wasn't sure I possessed. When the final contract was signed, everything shifted instantly. My company leaped from an idea mocked at family dinners into a seven-figure operation. The pressure, sacrifice, and silent work no one noticed had turned into tangible success. I didn't celebrate publicly. I simply sat in my office, grateful that discipline had spoken louder than their doubts ever could. Buying the Porsche wasn't about luxury. It was a symbol of every night I worked while others slept. A sleek, black Porsche 911 Carrera, paid in full. I posted a single picture online, expecting nothing. Within hours, people who once ignored me suddenly cared. Messages poured in from old colleagues, distant cousins, and acquaintances who mocked my ambitions years earlier. They all wanted a seat at my table now. Only my parents remained silent, watching from the shadows. I didn't know it yet, but the car wasn't what impressed them. It was what they imagined it represented: access, stability, and opportunity they believed belonged to them more than me. The call came the next morning. My mother's tone was cold, almost administrative. She didn't congratulate me or mention my wedding. She went straight to her script. My father was struggling financially. Bills were piling up and they needed my help. Her voice carried no remorse, only expectation. The absence at my wedding was forgotten, replaced by entitlement dressed as parental duty. She spoke as though success automatically made me responsible for their choices. I listened quietly, realizing this wasn't a reunion. It was a transaction they hoped I would accept without question. They had missed me. They missed what they believed I owed them. They insisted we meet at an upscale restaurant. My parents arrived dressed proudly, acting like nothing had ever happened. My father leaned forward and explained that my sister was facing financial trouble. According to him, supporting her was a family responsibility, and since I was doing well now, I should contribute. The irony stung. We had no family when I stood alone at my wedding altar. The word family suddenly resurfaced when money entered the conversation. They didn't ask how I was or show interest in my journey. They wanted ownership over a success they never believed in. In that moment, clarity replaced emotion. I reached into my pocket and placed an envelope on the table. It wasn't a check, it was my untouched wedding invitation. Their faces tightened. I said, calm and steady. Family begins with presents, not requests. My mother opened her mouth, but I stood before she could speak. I paid the bill and walked away without anger. It wasn't revenge. It was acceptance. They had chosen absence, and I finally returned the gesture. That night, I didn't lose parents. I released strangers who happened to share my last name. My life didn't need their approval anymore, and for the first time, I felt completely free.